Hey everybody, what's up? And one of the things I've been doing on this channel for the past 4 or 5 years now is sharing videos on my custom Lego MOCs. And most of the MOCs go into the Lego city that you see behind me, whether it be Harry Potter stuff, different buildings, or stuff like that. And of course I do make videos on each MOC showing all the individual details, but I never really showed the pieces that I have to make those MOCs. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you all a complete Lego parts tour, showing you how I organize my parts and what Lego parts I own. So without further ado, let's begin. So here I am back inside of my Lego city, and we're actually going to go below the city because this is where I keep all of my Lego parts. It's a kind of a small collection relative to some other Lego fans. I mean, it is definitely a very modest collection of stuff, but we're just going to begin. So I'm not really sure the best way to go about this, but we're just going to start over here with the bigger bins and then work our way into the more specific stuff. So starting with the biggest bin here, this is an official, Lego storage bin, nothing too crazy there. But inside of this bin, we actually start off with miscellaneous parts. So check this out, just a whole bunch of miscellaneous Lego pieces. We've got literally just tons and tons of pieces here. Just stuff that's not sorted. I also keep a bunch of sets that I'm kind of in the process of taking apart in here. So this is really the biggest miscellaneous bin of parts I have. It's just, there's just so many miscellaneous stuff. Random things that I get from, weird hauls and stuff, such as the chicken pod. But yeah, that's really the miscellaneous bin there. So kind of a crazy way to start, but it is kind of cool, I think. Next up in these two bins, I have minifigures. Both of these bins are pretty much exactly the same. I mean, they're different styles, but they both have the exact same contents inside, which is minifigs. And the reason there's two different bins is actually because one of the bins goes with me when I go to school and, for college with some minifigs, just to set up the studio and such. But it is really just the same thing. You can just see a whole bunch of different Lego minifigs in there. We'll even take a look inside of this bin. I mean, there's really no rhyme or reason. Generally though, the blue bin has more of like my expensive minifigures or like ones I really like, while the yellow bin kind of just has regular city folk. Now we get to move into the main actual parts. This was all miscellaneous stuff and minifigs. Now we move into actual parts. So I'm just going to take you from top to bottom here. So we're just going to start with this little set of bins. Inside of here is a whole bunch of just minifigure accessories. So we have Nexo Knight's shields, we've got some weapons, even a few animals in here. It's just a whole bunch of accessories for minifigs. Next up, this is a pretty interesting bin. This is a whole bunch of printed and stickered pieces. So we have a lot of stuff. This is actually a very full bin. Stuff with little things like the Octan sticker, police stuff, all kinds of things. This is really a really overflowed bin and need to get a bigger bin for that. At the very bottom here is actually a pretty basic bin. It just has a whole bunch of different windscreens and stuff, different glass elements. And these are just in the big bin because they are large, but I really don't have that many of them. Now this blue bin underneath is more miscellaneous, and I'm going to show you a little bit of that, but it is honestly just more miscellaneous parts. It's overflowing. That's just is what happens, is I have so many parts and stuff just overflows. So moving down now, we get to this next bin. This is the biggest set of bins in the whole display, I guess you call it. This bin has base plates in it, so I keep a bunch of Lego base plates in here. But there's some other stuff just around this bin, and these are all pop-up book inserts for the Lego Ideas pop-up book. So you can see we have Jack and the Beanstalk, Little Red Riding Hood. We even have my custom gold mine one right in there. So I just kind of keep these all together. It's really a bin that just holds the base plates, but I throw these in here as well to keep them all together for when I want to switch out the book. Now this next bin doesn't actually open, but you can kind of see what's inside of here. It is all Christmas stuff for Christmas time in the city, because obviously I'm not going to have this stuff out year round. So I kind of just put it in here for safekeeping. Now the bin doesn't pull all the way out, and that's just because there's so much stuff in here. If I want to get out this whole bin, I actually need to take off all the top stuff and just pick it from the bottom. Then this is another very full bin, but this one does surprisingly still open. There's just a whole bunch of plates. Now I separate my stuff by part. So I've got plates and tiles in this bin, all different colors mixed in. And I just find it's easier to separate by part when I'm building because, I could need like a plate to go underneath something for structure, and I don't care so much about the color of it as much as I do how it's going to do its job. So I do keep all my plates, big and small, all inside of here, which is pretty cool. Moving over here, just on top is just some stuff for a current build I want to get working on. Probably won't actually get to work on it or finish it even for that matter for quite a while, but that's that. Now inside this top bin is all my bricks. So we saw the plates, now here's all bricks. Same thing, just organized by part. We have 1x and 2x in here, and they're just all Lego bricks. This is the only bin that is organized by color though. This is my bin of white bricks, and the reason for this is actually so I can make snow in my Lego city. That is something I really enjoy doing with Christmas time. You know, whenever it's Christmas, I like to cover the city in snow. Not many other people do that with their Lego stuff, so that's one thing I like to do. And just having this bin, I'm going to pull out the bin and just work all above, so there's really no extra work needed there. And then this little bin is a whole bunch of miscellaneous stuff. So let's see what's in here. We've got down here, this is just a little Lego box I built. It was supposed to be a little magic box. I was going to make a video on it, but it really isn't that good. We've got some spare Lego tape that I use for the studio, Lego training cards, we got CMF sheets in there, a couple CMF bags. These CMF bags are actually in mint condition. They're just open, so I opened one bag from the back each series I get, just to keep the bags in as good a condition as possible. We got Disney, a couple older series in there, which is kind of cool. And yeah, there's just some other odds and ends stuff in this bin, which is kind of neat. And then we move over here to the main actual sorting of all these parts. And these bins are small ones. I think I got them at like a craft store. You know, it's used for like organizing beads or whatever. Inside of this bin, we've got Lego studs. Next is cheese slips. Cheese slips are an extremely useful piece to me when I'm building. Just adds a lot of good shaping and texture. Really like using those. Next is weapons here. So just more weapons. And there's really no difference between the weapons in here and the weapons that are in the top of that bin. It's honestly just the same. It's just two bins because this bin overflows. This is a cool bin. This is my Harry Potter accessories. Let's take a closer look in there. Just all stuff that I use in the Harry Potter display. So we have owls, wands, brooms, all kinds of stuff. So, you know, when it's not in the display actively, I will just leave it in this bin, which is kind of cool. Next in here is ball joints. I got a whole bunch of these. Sorry about focus. Whole bunch of these from the Lego store one time. Few different styles of them, but these are all ball joints, which are really cool. Next up is Lego cones, so any cones or even cylinder pieces are in there a bit too, which is kind of neat. This one is a whole bunch of rounded bricks, so pieces that have curves, a little bit of slopes in there, but it's all mostly rounded stuff, which is in there. And then, whoa, yeah, that's another bin that is definitely very overflowed. And then this bin has a bunch of Lego capes in it, mainly stuff from Harry Potter. I really don't like using Lego capes. I feel like they're just, you know, they don't look that good, and they're honestly not that great. Moving down, we get into some bigger bins. So this bin has a whole bunch of brackets in it, which is an extremely useful part, and I'm really, really glad to have a lot of these. I mean, this is such a useful piece, and I'm just actually going to go down this whole row. Here are Lego wheels, so you can see in there just car wheels and different, you know, wheels for different types of vehicles, big and small wheels. This is a Happy Meal toy that was, you know, a little Lego car thing. It's like two pieces there. But yeah, just a whole bunch of different cars and stuff, wheels, things of that nature. Sorry, these bins, you got to get the bins in like perfect to get them to close. This is kind of a just go with the flow type of video. Here is some foliage, so different plants, trees, flowers, all kinds of stuff like that. I'm actually going to take you over here now, just look at the rest of the big bins. This bin has slopes in it, so the other bin had more curved pieces. This has more right angle type of things, you know, slopes like that. Down in here we have Lego door frames and also the glass that goes with them. This is a piece I never really have enough of when I'm building, so I'm actually glad I got a bunch of these in a haul recently from Andy's Brick Shop. And then down here, this is just a bin of spare pieces. So you know, whenever you build a Lego set and you have all the little spares, well, instead of sorting them, I like to just dump them all in this bin because it's a good way to find new parts, you know, or pieces that are at least less common. So let's take this for example. This is a little just a modified tile in there. Let's see if we can get that in focus. It's just a modified tile. It's not a piece I have a lot of because it's a fairly new piece, so I just keep it in this bin, and that makes it really, really easy to just find them. So now we've only got these middle sections of the bins left. So in here is a whole bunch of Technic pins. very, very happy with this collection because I use so many Technic pins when I'm building. I mean, I really can never have enough of these, so I'm really glad about that. And next to it is just a whole bunch of other Technic parts. So you have axles in there, a couple of beams. That's really all the Technic stuff I own. I don't have a lot of Technic, but I do use a lot of Technic pins in building. Just kind of interesting. And here's just a whole bunch of bars and antennas from when I took apart the Ninjago lightning jet from the Ninjago movie. So I have so many of these bars from that set. Also in here is just lightsaber hilt pieces and stuff that's used as wands in Harry Potter, which is pretty cool. And over here is snot bricks. Snot bricks are a very useful part, of course, as I'm sure you all know. But I have a lot of snot bricks and I keep them next to the brackets. So the stuff's organized mainly by how much of a piece I have. So like, since I have a lot of brackets, they're in a big bin. So I have a lot of snot bricks that are in here and, you know, stuff like that. And I really only organize parts that I use a lot. So I may have a lot of, you know, some other piece, but if it's not a part I use a lot, I'm not going to waste a bin on it. So that's why all these parts are mainly relevant bricks here. And I do have them organized near each other, like in the part families, I guess you could say. So similarly, here are hinges. Down here, don't have as many of these, but they are really useful for building computers and such. Very cool. And here's minifig accessories and parts, which is really, really fun. This is my Lego fidget spinner, but, you know, just a whole bunch of different torsos and headgear and a few faces in here for minifigs as well, you know, ones I have lots of spares of. So they're all in there. You know, it's a really small minifig bin. I don't have many minifigs that are not assembled because obviously anytime I can build a minifig, I'm putting it in the city, so it's a really small bin. In here is just car axles and pieces. I guess this axle's in the wrong bin here. But, you know, just like pieces to attach wheels to in there, which is kind of cool. Now, these next two bins are completely empty. Or this bin is actually, I forgot I put stuff in here. This bin is completely empty for if I get another bulk part that I use a lot. This is another one of those empty bins, but I'm actually just using it for stuff down here. It actually does steal some of the minifig parts. This was from a video I made a while back. These parts actually just need to be cleaned. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but they are quite dirty. But that's why they're in here. And here we have hinged bricks and plates. This is a part that I don't honestly use that much, except for when I'm building pop-up inserts. So when I'm building more inserts for the pop-up book, this is very useful to do. And as I'm sure those of you who have followed the channel for a while now know, I love building pop-up inserts. It's one of my favorite things to do with Lego. This is a cool bin. This is all my Lego food elements. So you can see in here we have, you know, printed cornflakes. We got a bunch of hot dogs in there. Some coffee mugs and stuff. But just a whole bunch of cool Lego food stuff. I like keeping all the food together. It's really helpful for the city. Then in here is jumper plates. Jumper plates are one of the most useful pieces in building. It's just such a useful piece. And I have a pretty fair amount of them in here. So I'm actually quite happy with that collection. Now onto the bottom row, here are grill pieces, which again are great for adding texture to a build. Down here, this is a whole bunch of flames and fire elements. So, you know, if I want to catch something on fire for my fire department. Also these little lightning parts, which are again from the lightning jet that I recently took apart. In here, this bin's another one that's really, really stuck. I don't know if I'll be able to shimmy it out, but this is a bin of a whole bunch of Lego shooters. So just all different kinds of shooters. I'm just going to show you what you can in here. See, there's a couple big shooters, but I also have a bunch of stud shooters and spring-loaded shooters in here. A whole lot of shooters. And then the final bin is this one right here, which is Lego chairs. So I guess these are the only white parts that aren't in my bin of parts for snow, but you can't really make snow that looks like a chair, can you? So that is just a whole bunch of Lego chairs. And there you go. That is my entire Lego parts collection. Like I said, these bins are from like an AC Moore store. These are from, you know, a Target type store. I mean, Walmart, anywhere that has them. Then the bins over here are all from Lego. And that is all of the Lego parts that I own. And there you have it. That was a complete look at all of my Lego parts collection. Like I said, it's kind of a modest collection. It's not nearly as big as some Lego builders collections. And usually when I'm building a big building for a mock, I do usually have to order the main bricks that will go for the outside separately. But that's all good. I mean, that's the way I like to build. I still think it is a very good collection. And I hope you all found my method of organizing the parts at least interesting. Anyways, that's going to be it for this video though. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll talk to you all again in my next video.